So we're holding Tam Psak Harama B'Yad Chazok. Huh?
You do 33 weeks off.
That's a good idea, actually. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. With MS, we got to Daf Nun Daled, but we skipped yesterday because I wanted to do an Inyan Sholem. Yesterday, we did a full chapter from Daf Memches. So I want to go back to a big shtickle I skipped, Pashat, because I wanted to go ahead. And else, last night, I wanted to do that piece about the Menorah. You light it from the right to the left to the right, because last night it was relevant. And Reshimos and Menorah is still relevant. I mean, we're talking about the Menorah in the base of Mikdash, even though Hanukkah is over. But today is Zois Hanukkah, still connected to Hanukkah. And besides being Zois Hanukkah, the Menorah in the base of Mikdash is every day. So, okay. So let's go back to Daf Mem Daled. Daf Mem Daled. Here.
Thank you.
Mem Daled. You're welcome.
We learn.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Amen.
V'hinei Lach shen ba shit es ram batovas aneres baboyke shlois blavach tos batovas aneres ben arbaim. Nidli bor. Tel shtos shlam shem tif madlik es aneres gam baboyke utzrich v'meila. Tzrich maite aneres gam ben arbaim. Came just in time. Daf mem daled ois chof ches. And this is not connected to what we learned yesterday. Yesterday we learned the whole different ois. It's in ganzen another parsha we learned yesterday. Nearly bor. The Shitos Shalam Shemativ Madlik Maneris Gamba Boyker, Mamela Tzimot Maneris Gamba and Arbam Hina Tavas and Neder Ben Arbam Gamke Mukhulko base Pom Matavas Homish Nadis, Thomas base Nadis. There it says it seems to him clear, just in the morning, just like in the morning, there was a mitzvah to do, as we'll learn soon. We learned it from the Pasuk Baboyker, that you do Chomish Nadis and then Shtein Nadis. Also in the afternoon, there was a mitzvah to do Chomish Nadis and then Shtein Nadis. Either way, in the morning and the afternoon, what's the chiddush, as you'll see soon, because the Gemara learns it from the pasuk where it says baboiker baboiker, baboiker baboiker. The Chacham said, "What do you mean baboiker baboiker? What's the double lashon?" Say baboiker. So the Chazal said you have to do it chalkeu l'shem bekorim. That you have to do Chomish Neres and then Shtein. How do they know 5 and 2 is a separate question. But that's what Chazal said. That it's in the pasuk. The afternoon is not Baboyker. So the Rebbe is going to talk about this now. The Rambam says, "Mishum da Tovas Neres tzarich lishov Baboyker ben Arbaim k'shit chis loshna yad chazok b'ilchos midim musaf and perek gimel alocha yud tzayin yud zayin dishon Menorah b'Tovas Chomish Neres Baboyker ben Arbaim mitzasei u'mamishich." Loy meter kol neres bepam machas al meter chamesh neres u'mafsik v'etzav v'dacheres v'achkach nechnas u'meter v'shtayim. Kids say that
Which other avodah you do?
Which other avodah? There's machloikis. It's machloikis of the other avodah in between is.
So when you do the mizbech, when you go around the mizbech.
No, the machloikis is that was something else. We said when you get hit the mizbeach, you have to imavin al mitzvahs around, and also when we said the Kohen Gadol of Yom Kippur when he came, so he had to do first the avodah of dishon mizbeach happening before the menorah, because the mizbeach is here and the menorah is here, and it's closer to him. But here is something else. It's saying nachamal. The Ram says dishon menorah v'tovas moshenes v'boyker ben arbaim mitzasei mamshek lemeter kol neder b'fam achter meter chamish neretz mafsek avodah cheres v'akach nichnas meter v'ashnim. Thank you.
Wasn't that meitiv and madlik?
Yeah, he meant meitiv and madlik. Ketzat say that atov it's eshedosh zocher b'dishon menorah nichnas v'kli biyodai b'kuz shmoi medashim esapsilas v'kov v'sashem shonish menorah heitiv chomesh neis and v'kuz l'fa Hashem l'fnei menorah yoytz v'ach nichnas meitiv shnei neder mamsh v'sayim Hashem b'psat perik vav k'sei l'shoysa b'chol yom haboyka kach hoysa ben arbaim.
The kuz is to clean
the kuz is where he puts the dirty candles and in other words
next to the menorah.
I'm not sure. Pirish Velashim Pirish Mishnah the same thing. Dash ben arbaim yev shagam can believe dishon menorah kumash is the chana babayk. So say
You need never lie here. He had a fire all the time, like, right?
No, but I'm saying, where do you put the little kuz was, where do you put the dirty oil and the dirty wicks? So there was a little keli that they had called a kuz, and that's where they would put in the dirty oil and the dirty wicks.
Still in the garbage bin.
He walked in with a
Walked in with
jar
it,
of oil, right? So his hand is already busy with one hand. The other hand, he has the tools to take out the dirt. So what do? He put down the oil, clean up with the tools.
Could be, I don't know, it's a good shaila. Could be he had, could be all the tools. Could be there was like a stick that had all the tools hanging from it. Weiß nicht.
We will know very soon.
Huh?
Can't be something else.
Could be. It's mashma that he came in with it because it says, "Ketzet say der atava." Nichnos ukli v'yada v'kushmoy. ובשניהם בבוקר בין 40 מפסיק בין הטוב ו-5 שני הטוב ושתי נרס גם כן בקטוירס כדס חכמים, which is a shit of chacham. The Abba Shaul says that Abba Shaul says, sorry, I'm just going to grab the siddur. Abba Shaul says, Abba Shaul says that this dishum is bech pnimi, dishum is bech the komen chatavis chamesh neres, v'atavis chamesh neres kedem es ladam atomet. V'dam atomet kedem latavis shtei neres.
This is the other.
The avoid in the middle is dam atomet. Dam atomet. The chachamim, who's Abba Shaul? He's one of the big chachamim, the Zman Hashas. But the thing is, the chachamim said no, that the thing the avoid that we do in between.
Sounds Sephardi. The name is Sephardi.
They were all Sephardi. Now one of them was Ashkenazi.
Was no Ashkenazi.
No, there are none of them were Ashkenazi. So,
Moshe Rabbeinu, not Rabbeinu was.
Father was his father.
so the thing is, Chachamim say the avoid in between was Ktoiris. That Chachamim say the avoid in between was Ktoiris.
And Ben Arbaim also tears. Shachris understand. Ben Arbaim. What's avoid? Between the Chamesh and the five.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Everyone agrees it's Ktoiris and Ben Arbaim. But the whole machlok is only by Boiker. I don't remember what it was, the word, but there was in Crown Heights a short time before the Stalkus of the Rebbe. There was a Schwarzer that broke into a house.
To his house?
No, to a woman's house. This is Lapine. And he wanted the Rahman al-Islam to do something, and she was fighting back, and mainly he killed her. The Rebbe went out to the Levaya, and
That was took care of the kid.
yeah, that Shabbos, there was a few, the Rebbe was like, the whole story was like, the Rebbe spoke about it. And the whole Farbrengen Shabbos, the Rebbe spoke about it. That's interesting that the Rebbe wrote about them. Shimon knew about it. The Rebbe was very into the sugya. But whoever knew at that time found it in the desk, the Rebbe later. Anyway, that Farbrengen, the Rebbe said a whole thing about Abaya. Abaya was a Yosem.
Right.
And that's what they called him Abaya. It was a Rosh Tov something, Avi Yisoimim something, you know. And he was a Yosem. And the Rebbe then spoke about that there's a shaila. Asher b'cho Yeruchim Yosem.
Yes.
Asher b'cho Yeruchim Yosem. That's a Rosh Tov. Abaya is
Yes.
Asher b'cho Yeruchim Yosem.
What does that mean? What does that?
Then of the Gemara when you do.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That David should have Rachmanis on him. He was a Yosem.
Often.
So they said Asher b'cho Yeruchim Yosem. So
You lying good, Yoli.
we spoke about it. So the Rebbe spoke about it. The Rebbe cried about that. The Rebbe said that there's a shaila that why is it that every day we say like Abba Shaul, and the loch is really not like Abba Shaul, and the loch is like Chacham Yachid V'Rab Malach Gerab, and on Yom Kippur when we say the avodah on Yom Kippur we say the avodah the way the Chachamim hold. That was the between Chamesh Neres and Shtei Neres was Ktoiris. So in Monoshech, do you hold like Abba Shaul or you hold like Chachamim? You can't hold Sunday like Abba Shaul and Monday like Chachamim. Yom Kippur you decided to go like Chachamim. The Rebbe said, I think the whole thing in Avodas Hashem, that Ktoiris is a much higher level in Avodas Hashem. It's only in the Pnim. Korban is Moshe Kiruv, and Ketores is Moshe Kesher, and that's to do with Mercedes Nefesh. And you can't expect a Yid to, during the year, we can go with the Shita of Abishol, which is what's a very important avodah that needs to be emphasized. That's like a lahargish, it's called azora. That has to be done between Chomesh and Eresh. That is, you do dam atomid, which is an easier avodah. And Yom Kippur were like Malachi Ashodas, and so then we can emphasize more the avodah of Ketores, which is Maloshen Chat Ketiris, Katarna, Be'achidna, Be'lehitna, that the Yidin, the one with the Eibishter. That's why during the year we say like Abishol, which is the simpler avodah is Hashem. But on Yom Kippur, we're on a higher level. We say like let's jump in to do it like Chachamim.
Right, Rabbi. I learned that the word keter, itar means tie.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. The Ketores is to do with being tied one with Hashem. Sorry, I went off a little bit on a tangent. Just this was a beautiful sikh, and I mentioned it once. So it's interesting that. Okay, so this talk of the machloikis of Abba Shol and Chacham. Okay, anyway, but the hoyish besider yavitz maybe say yaita the yesh hefsek ben atovis heineres l'shteineres gam ben arbaim medas harajba v'tzonachin godol rayazu kimen dachochas hayavitz medas harajba v'zeh mipirushim bereish perigvav the tamid the mishnah zukoya ben arbaim v'ilo v'neres haboiker. Yeshebokoy b'safer gimel afshel spirit loy the lohoya hefsek ben atovis heineres beineres un tois v'syamtev tamid. Nimgen Shalom, the Pirish and Amma Vreme Forshim. Shebeis Mishnah is the Talmud. Him Batov Shaboike, well, in this Ben Arbaim, Botla Chochesh, Yam Ben Arbaim, Yashivsek, Menofel Kol Abinyan. The Rebbe says, you can't bring the Raya from the Rajba. I'm sorry. The Rajba learned the Mishnah is differently. All the Rishonim that learned that all the Mishnah is Talmud are talking about Baboike. So what are you going to bring me a Raya from the Rajba? The Rajba learned that the Mishnah is talking about Ben Arbaim. That's not going to help me for the other Rishonim. So the question is, how did the Rambam know that in the morning and the afternoon was exactly the same thing? Vein with Moyal Tzarech Lahafsik Behemtza Hatovish Neiris Ben Arbaim Afagav the Hodam Metivim V'Chezem Metivim Amr B'Yechim Dafinim Baboike V'Chalkel Shtei B'Korim Metamza L'Shayach Ben Arbaim. V'Choyde this time Baboike it is not Shayach Ben Arbaim. V'Doichik Loim B'Dachiluk Zeh Gufa Ike Benavid Reb Yochanan the Pirish Di Alfinim Baboike Rishlokish the Pirish Shom Atam the Metivim V'Chezem Metivim Kedei lahargish kol azora kula. Hainu das Reb Yochanan Shalom Baboike tzarech lahafsik rak baboike. Mashenk las Rishlokish atam kedei lahargish tzarech lahafsik gam bein arbaim. The Rebbe says at the end he's really going to learn this way, sort of, but you have to add salt and pepper to it. So it's not. The Rebbe is saying just to learn like this is a doiche, but then he's a little bit going to learn this way. Another way like this, you could say. The Gemara says that how do we know that you have to split it and do Chomesh Neiris and then Shneiris? Yochanan says it says in the pasuk Baboike Baboike. The Shlokish says because it was a Siba, it was a Kedei lahargish es kol azora. The Chacham decided that the avodah of the Menorah is very important, more important than any other avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. And they wanted lahargish es kol azora. People come, where are they holding now? They're doing the middle avodah in the Menorah. We're still in the middle of the Menorah. So lahargish es kol azora. We're still busy with the Menorah. So if you think about it for a second, Rabbi Yochanan that learns in Baboike is mashma that it's only Baboike. But Ben Arbaim is not that way. But Reish Lakish that says it's a svara kedei lahargish es kol azora. So what's the difference in the morning and the afternoon?
So is the question on the Rambam, why the Rambam?
So the question would be, why did Rambam pick to go like Reish Lakish? But l'chayda you could say that's the machloikis. As I said, the end sort of the Rebbe is going to learn this way. That the Gemara says that the machloikis and Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, why in the morning you split Chomesh Neiris and Shtei Neiris. Rabbi Yochanan says you learn from Baboike Baboike. Reish Lakish says it's a svara lahargish es azora. The Rebbe says maybe you could say that that's not only machlokes where we learn it from. Machlokes is also what's going to happen bein arbaim. If you say it's a pasuk, we don't have a pasuk for the afternoon. Yeah. But if you're going to say that it's a svara, the svara is equal in the morning and the afternoon. Lahargish azara.
It seems like the Rambam paskin some stuff like the Chachamim, some stuff like depends on which.
Right. Later in the last.
it's the other way. How they-
But
how they like it?
sometimes,
This way.
sometimes when you have to pass them, the rules are very clear. Yochid v'Rabim, Malach Kerabim. It's funny because Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish, usually the loch is always like Rabbi Yochanan, unless Sugid Alma is like Rish Lakish. There's a lot of rules that are quite simple. And then there are rules that are not simple. They're very, very complicated. And different Rishonim had different mahalchim. There's no Rishon that's going to say, no, Yochid v'Rabim halacha Yochid. It doesn't exist.
This is
It.
but it's still the same.
But sometimes one of the last parakim here, he's going to have a whole perek, which is either we'll do next year or we'll do in the 3 weeks. Tam psak anama miyada chazaka. In the Yada Chazaka, he said things different than in the Mishnayos. And the Rebbe is actually going to Astin and Ram. And he does it. But here the Rebbe is going to give a biur, and I didn't yet go into it, but in the Kufi I see that the Rebbe is going to be playing around with a lot of the klole hapsak. Like, when do you go this way, when you go this way, when do you go like a chomem, when do you go like a yochid. So this is going to play into that. Okay.
But most of the time, Yochid v'Rabim,
Yeah, there's a simple rule. Yesh shloime. The menagel lahefsek ben arbaim lo tzorich kroa baboike. The pshita the mafsek. Fakert. In the afternoon, it's a pshita the mafsek. Midiksiv balois arnas haneres ben arbaim yaktirena. It's got the fetish posek. Baboike is a drash. You could say baboike means this, it means that. It says in the posek. Uvi alos arnas haneres ben arbaim yaktirena. B'shas you're doing the candles, you're doing ketoides. B'dahainu, b'iden had lokete, makte ketoide, ketisa b'yuma. Shief shalom b'bereisha madlok neres v'hoder, makte ketoide, sheben arbaim kim v'shein lach. Avoidik shekshedem, be'erevad boiker, elazu b'lavad. The last avoida has to be had loka. Klem ein lacha avoida sim ksheda ach had loka. V'alkorche b'in had lokit, the mikte ketoides. Voying Amkin Toises Yom to Vresh Perik Bob the Talmud. Elish Akosa Baala Sekten Mucher Choshidak, Shatzor Lahafsik Bemsa, Vesulay Midi. Vilachlukas Atava Lahineris, Baisneris, Himishum, Shatavas and Neris, Arachli, Shava, Baboka, Ben Arbaim. So he's saying like this. That he's saying like this. You can't say that there's an argument if in the afternoon there should be a splitting of the Adlokas and Neris. Because it's come up and foolish in the pasuk. The Gemara of Darshans in the pasuk. It's hard to say if Yechem's arguing that pasuk. But the pasuk says, "Uvialas aranas aneris ben arbaim yakterena." He's not an octopus aram. He doesn't have 7 hands that can go like 1 over there and 7 over here. He can't. So when you say of alas aranas aneris yakterena, it's almost clear in the pasuk that he should do a few natives, stop, do the ketoides, and then finish off the natives. It's almost clear. And that's talking what the Gemara says. Ubi'idin had lokete makte ketoides. The Gemara says furthermore that the last avodah they did in a regular day, besides by the way at a Pesach, the last thing they did was adlokas hanedis. Okay. So therefore it's hard to say that anyone will argue with this, and this is clear. וזה משמע גם כן בין 40 גם לדעת אבא שאול שבבוקר צריך לזמית וסנדס ואחר כך מה כתב זה בדם טוב בבוקר ביתי ועוד יקטרנה מוידו שבין 40 מפסק בקטוירס ולא בדם טוב. So by the way, you should know another point says that Rebbe from here. From this Gemara is mashma that the homach loikes of Abba Shaul and Chachamim were only b'boker, but not ben 40. Ki ben 40 mi'efshe she'ad l'kulam v'ach kach yakter mishum she'ein l'cha boide sim tshei rachet lokas haneres besides the Korban Pesach v'kol the bidin ad loket to make ktoides. Okay. ובזה יש לתארץ גם כן קושיאס נויסה כלי היד בהלכס תמיד ומסופים פרקים על הולכת הזין. כוס ורם אולי מייטב כל הנרס בפעם אחת, אבל מייטב 5 נרס ומאפסק ועבודה אחרת, ואחר נכניס מייטב זה 2, כדי להרגש כל הזור, וכש נויסה כאלה, ולמה אמרו שמתם כדי להרגש כל הזור, כדי ונשלוקש וכדי ויחל, שאפינו מקרות בבוקר כאלה 2 בקורים. Why did the Rambam decide to go with Reish Lakish? Usually we go with Rabbi Yochanan. The Rambam decided to say that the reason why you split it is kedei lahargish es kol hazora. So, the pianal yeturitz, the yeshlem the nok the Rambam time kedei lahargish b'shum the shavya b'boiker ben 40. The svara of lahargish will make that the morning and afternoon have to be exactly the same. If you went like Rabbi Yochanan, could be that the details of the morning and afternoon are a little different. There could be, because this we learn from Baboiker, and this we learn Baalas. So in both cases, but it's not so clear if it's exactly the same. But if you say, and maybe that's Takad Pshat and Shlokit, that he also learns the Pasuk of Baboiker, and he also learns Baalas Aram. Lamai, he said, and maybe this is the way that Rambam learned on Shlokit, that there's also a svara. Why do we need the svara? The Rebbe is going to explain why we also need a svara. The if you just say the svara that it's kedai to stop in the middle, so let's dance a little bit. If there's a svara that you shouldn't just do all 7 candles, do a few, stop, and do the other few. So all the kohenim should go out, should hold hands, and then they'll do the other 2. So therefore, the pasuk teaches you that has to be mafsik b'avodah acheres. V'gam bein arbaim ein kol kachiyuv de lahargish. It's called azor k'may b'boyke k'may d'ratzin gam l'ksal daitach. We find the Gemara has a psal kedaitach v'mefisen shegam zeh mazalam mefisen chayv mefisen kedei lahargish kol azor bein arbaim. When they make the raffles, who gets the avodah? The pious. V'chol zeh ein oisen payosus beyerev shezeh mum shebein arbaim ein kol kachiyuv lahargish azor. L'chein itzrak ro l'afsik the bein arbaim. But the svara is adding to the pasuk that in the morning and the afternoon should be the same thing. Im gam adim v'achiluk b'motza beis neres mezrochim dolkim sheshenina b'mishnah tamid v'negel tovas haboiker ugam bein arbaim. We said according to the Rambam, in the morning, afternoon, they're both the same. There's 5 and 2, and in between you do a different avoid. Okay, and the Rambam actually passing like Chachamim. Then Heim Baboiker, Heim Ba'erev. The sandwiched avoid in the middle is the Ktoiris, not like Abba Shaul who holds the Baboiker. What sandwiched between is the Damatomid. Okay, but the Shailas is it mamish exactly the same because the Mishnah says when he came in the morning, there's a whole complicated thing. That if we're back with us. That if the first 2 are burning, they're not bothering you, go to the other 5. And so Shailas is that also the same in the morning and the afternoon? You would think that in the morning and the afternoon should be mamish exactly the same. Skip to the next paragraph. Skip the brackets. Anyway, according to the Rambam, the chidush of the Ner Maravi is that boy Messiah. So maybe Takazoi that when the Mishnah said, the Mishnah had a whole formula in the morning. If he comes in, we have a little bit of a bias that we want to do the 5 that are Lifnei Hashem, but if the first 2 are extinguished, so so we have a whole complication. But in the afternoon there isn't that bias because you don't want to do first. Because according to the Rambam, when Chazal say is according to remember the other Rishonim holds the first 2 candles. Mizrach Hamayrav, the Mizrach makes this from Mayrav and the Mayrav. But according to the Rambam, it's this 1 candle. So anyway, you have to be Messiah with this one. So it could be, and that's why it could be talking the Mishnah when they go through that whole complicated case. It's only in the morning because talk in the afternoon we don't have that. Come in, do the first 5 again. They came in all mitzvahs, And fakir, you dafka want to boy Messiah. That's the chiddush that you want to be Messiah with the Ner Maravi. So the Rebbe says but that it's not clear. Whatever, you still have to buy in this. Okay. Okay, we have 15 minutes. I'm very happy. We're not going further in here, but I want to go back to something. Very lomdish sugya. Very a hyper lomdish sugya. The whole idea of emavir in ala mitzvahs. I already mentioned a little bit about it, and now we have 15 minutes. I want to talk about it. First, the story with the Radvaz. The guy was in jail, and the Sa'ar Beis HaSoya said, one day he gets to go home. Pick one day. So he was trying to think, which is the best day?
Kippur, Hashanah.
The Radvaz says, no. Emavir in ala mitzvahs. The first, if you don't have tefillin in the jail, next morning, if you go home, you can wear tefillin. So then he said, the first available mitzvah that you can't do in jail. He didn't go into that. It's a good child. Because a person is about maybe that's a lie. Either mitzvah, it's not a mitzvah. That he didn't touch on that. Okay. So now
Unless we're talking about now the American jails. It's in his times maybe.
no. There was no minion in the jail.
Yeah.
There was no daf yoim in the jail also.
The Bashkin got out today.
Huh?
The Bashkin got out today.
Yeah, they have this
Oh yeah. You got it today.
special fit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 5 years already.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Fly.
Okay.
He was here, remember?
Yeah. It was. Ooh,
Yeah, you hear?
yeah.
Get to speak. Yeah.
Okay. So the Chacham Tzvi actually asks a question against the he asks a question against the Radvaz. He says, I don't understand. The Gemara says that if they have only one sheep and they know tomorrow they're not going to have another sheep, whatever, there's a siege against Yerushalayim or Chas v'shalom, whatever case, all the sheep died. It was a David. Tomorrow they're not going to have another sheep. So the shaila is Musaf and Dayon Tmidim the Mocher. The Makudish, this one has a mile of Makudish, it's a mile of Todir. What should we do? No, I have. Thank you. Yeah. There's a mile of Makudish, a mile of Todir. What should we do? So he said, I don't understand. So Emavir in ala mitzvahs. You have to do one first. So health the Eibush that I have a Chacham Tzvi, like the new one. Today they make Svarim is unbelievable. The all the new editions of Svarim, like they take Chacham Tzvi, they do it. They know the Behudach Sam Sofer. So they have these Machon Sam Sofer, Machon Rav Buxboim. So what they do is they have in the back of the Sefer, they'll have like 30, 40, 50, 70 pages, and they'll go through every tshuva and what other Achronim said on that tshuva. It's brilliant. It's a lot of work. So besides, like for example, here, here. So besides the fact that look, no, I don't need a pen. I just want to show you something. This is what a Chacham Tzvi used to look like up to 30 years ago. Yeah, this is what it looked like. And the new one is beautiful. Like they say from the Rebbe used to call it, but they say the stock from the Bekiv Ege about this. That the Rebbe was very into that. We should print nice paper, and it should be beautiful.
Yeah.
So we know that Rebbe was very, very, very into it. So take this. You get turned off. You see those, right? Exactly. And so all these, and Rebbe was also very big into Aznayim L'Torah. When you learn a Tshuva Chacham Tzvi today, and you know right away you're not going to have to cup and vant. You open on the back, and you can be able to fold them out on a coinmas, and it's just amazing. So help the Eibishter. And then this taka that there are a few Gedolei Yisrael that I have to say, what the heck is all about? They said he missed the Beferish at Toisus and Yuma. We didn't miss it, but he missed it. But the one of the things that Rebbe brought was earlier. The Rebbe was very big into this. The Rebbe said that the Toisvis, the Gemara says that when he walks out of in Kippur, but any day when he brings a chatos, and you have to go with the dam chatos, you have to go to the Mizbeach Hapnimi and put the dam on the Dalet Kronis. 1, 2, 3, 4. You walk out of the front door of the Heichel. Shiur Adam, and the pasuk says, Yishpuch al Yesoid asher Pesach oyel moed. So the Gemara says it teaches us that it has to be the Yesoid Maravi. Say this is the Mizbeach, this is the Yesoid around. There's a Yesoid Mizrachi, Maravi, Droimi, Tzfoini. So when he comes out of the door, he has to pour it right over here on this Yesoid. So in the Gemara we adds 3 words. The Gemara adds 3 words. The Gemara says the Pei Poga Beresh, because this is the first one you met. Name Avir Nal Mitzvahs. Rashi takes out those words. Rashi says we already have a pasuk. What do you need overkill a svara to? The Tosfos says that Rashi is right. But Tosfos says, why do we need a pasuk? It's chaposh the svara. Name Avir Nal Mitzvahs. So Tosfos says, when do we say Name Avir Nal Mitzvahs? This is very lomdish Tosfos that everyone talks about. The problem is that they lose because they forget. A lot of people that discuss this Tosfos is Wochen, this is Wochen and Aleph. It's the echte Kotchem Sugya. They forget there's a Tosfos in Yuma Lamed Gimel that fills in on this Tosfos. Tosfos over here says that Eim Avinu Mitzvah is only when you have 2 mitzvahs to do. It's 2 mitzvahs, A and B. So you're not allowed to pass. When you have 2 mitzvahs, you can't pass this mitzvah and do this mitzvah. You have 2 mitzvahs. Or you have 1 mitzvah, 4 details. You have a mizbeach, and you have to put the dam 1, 2, 3, 4. So wherever poga beresh, if you can, so you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't just walk around them. But if you have 1 mitzvah, if you have to be kaveya, where to put that 1 mitzvah? We don't say mavin al mitzvahs. When you have 1 mitzvah, you don't say that. Well, if you have 1 mitzvah, and the shaila is to do it Sunday or Monday, or you have 1 mitzvah, the shaila is you do it on the right and the left. There's a mitzvah to pour the blood. Shaila is you're going to do it on your side, mizrachi or side maravi, droimi or tzfoimi. It's 1 mitzvah. So there we don't say mavir and mitzvah. It doesn't apply. The Tosfos in Yuma comes along and says that Tosfos Zochim is wrong. Tosfos in Yuma says because even if there's only 1 mitzvah, we say mavir and mitzvahs. Tosfos says, how do I know that? It's Tosfos Lamed Gimel in Yuma. Because the Gemara says, when should we do Purim? We finish Hanukkah, we didn't already deal with Purim. When are we going to do Purim? So if you have 2 others, when are we going to do Purim? So the Gemara says the Machloikis Shimon Gamliel and Rabbi Elazar Yosi. Rabbi Yosi said the Adarishan. Why? Emavian al mitzvahs. Shimon Gamliel says Adasheni Mismach Legula Legiula. So it sounds like Omer Shimon Gamliel, if Pesach would have fallen out on Hanukkah, then he would agree. Then he would agree that Emavian al mitzvahs. Okay. Even though we're passing out of Shimon Gamliel, but in the principle, he agrees that Eim Avir and Ala mitzvahs. But wait a minute. This is 1 mitzvah. The shaila is we'll do it Sunday or Monday. Similar to here. It's 1 mitzvah. Shaila is that we're going to pour the blood. Mizrach Meir. It's often. It's Zman HaMakim. Shaila Sunday, Monday. The right and the left. So we see even here we say Eim Avir and Ala mitzvahs. So Tosfos in Yuma says, I'm sorry, Haltkov. I'm telling you, this is a very big yesod and it's very kedai to Tosfos says that we always say Mavir and Alamitzvahs. True. But here is different. Why? Because this is the yesod. Sorry, the yesod Deraimi was where they did 99.999 of all the blood. It was Todir. So Todir screams out and says, you should use me. Todir screams out, you should use me. So therefore, this is the one that you should usually use. So,
What's that made for them? What was that one made for?
So what's this one made for? You know, they should get haste. But now that the Torah says Asher Pesach Oyel Moyed, so you can't mitzad mitzvah say no. They should said you should make here your side as it goes. But the blood you got to put here because it's Torah. Now the pasuk says Asher Pesach Oyel Moyed. You know you have to put it here. That's what the Tosfos says in Yuma. And I see a lot of Goyne Earl missed that Tosfos in Yuma because it didn't Zvachim, but this is like a funny, it's a Tosfos in Yuma. So they said, oh, the Chacham Tzvi missed the Tosfos in Yuma. We see even 1 mitzvah, we say, Ein Mavirin ala mitzvahs. Even in 1, huh? Yeah. Okay, now, even 1 mitzvah, we say Ein Mavirin ala mitzvahs. Okay. So,
You have it by Tefillin also.
I'm worried to get Kiddush. Yeah, but I wanted to get the film. I'm worried to get Kiddush. I can't wait to get to it. I first I want to say what I think is the swara here. So according to Tosis and Yuma, it's like a funny. Sometimes we say Ema V'Yin Ala mitzvahs. You can stand on your head. When there's one mitzvah, second mitzvah, you're never allowed to miss out the first mitzvah. Right? God said to do this and this. Don't tell me, well, this is more important. They're no more important.
Yeah.
God said to do, the Rabban Shalom said, the Rabban Shalom said to do this one, do this one. Al di shekel mitzvahs kalach.
Yeah, you're not supposed to decide
What's a more important mitzvah.
what's important
Right.
and what's not important.
Good. Then the choices in Yuma says, but if there's one mitzvah and you have to decide Sunday, Monday, the right and the left. So then we say like this, that if everything is equal, so then we say Mavir and Ala mitzvahs. If it's one mitzvah, the shaila is Sunday or Monday, or it's one mitzvah, the shaila is the right and the left. So Purim. So if everything is equal, we say Mavir and Ala mitzvahs. But if the other one is more mekudish or more tadir or more important, so then you go with the other one. That's right. So this so that that's why the Gemara over there makes sense. That even though we usually say we always say Emavir and Ala mitzvahs. It's just that over there, because it was a shaila, if we're going to do, it's one mitzvah, and the shaila is we're going to do it today or tomorrow. So when it's one mitzvah and the shaila is today or tomorrow, Tadir is more important, but we still say Emavir and Ala mitzvahs over there. It's just that over there, Tadir overrides it. But Gufa, why taka? Well, Tosis Vachim says, look, it's always that's it. But if it's one mitzvah and you have to decide Sunday, Monday, there's no such thing. Okay. But the Tosis and Yuma brings you a raya from Purim that we always say, but it's different. When it's two mitzvahs, even this is a tiny mitzvah, you never say, I'm going to go past this mitzvah to go here. But when I have to be koveya, if the mitzvah should be Sunday or Monday, or on the right and the left, so then I'll go Ema V'Yin Ala mitzvah. But if the other one's more important, go with the more important. So what do you see? So you see from here, because it's only one mitzvah. So wow. So you see from here, there's the real Ema V'Yin and the fake Ema V'Yin Ala mitzvah. I want to explain. I want to use a lomdisha term in English, a tiebreaker. When we say Halavai Derogacheva had a mahalach, like a word that I could use, etzem v'spai. I have some words in lomdisum, but tiebreaker. When there's two mitzvahs to do, it's not a tiebreaker.
Right.
You have to do this mitzvah first. And I'll say further, this way. All mitzvahs, in one way, all mitzvahs are equal. Because it's Ritzoyne Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is more important mitzvah. This is Ritzoyne Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Eibush, there's Kul Echad, there's no more important, less important. So this is the first, you have to do this, and then you'll do that. But there are a difference in mitzvahs. The Torah is HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'zakas Yisrael mitzvahs. He wants to purify us, to make us better people. If you have to go out in the cold and give out menorahs to people, and you're a little embarrassed to say, "Excuse me, sir, you're Jewish," that's a one type of purification. It's a little bit humbling. Someone, what's your business if I'm Jewish? It's a different type of mitzvah. It's a different mitzvah. In the mitzvah, putting up a mezuzah is different. It affects you in a different way. So when you have two mitzvahs, and you can't skip one mitzvah to go to the other mitzvah. What are you telling me? You're going to skip this mitzvah to go to that mitzvah. That's really Ema V'Yin and Ala mitzvahs. Every mitzvah is a tzon shel Eibishter. Don't tell me this is smaller and that's bigger. But when it's one mitzvah, let's put them. I'm going to celebrate Adarish and Adasheni. So then Tosis is saying you should do Adarish. But if you're going to come and argue that there's more Kedusha and Adasheni because Mismach Geula, now I have to listen to you. Because it's not a real Ema V'Yin and Ala mitzvahs. Here I'm only using Ema V'Yin and Ala mitzvahs as a tiebreaker. It's not the real Ema V'Yin and Ala mitzvahs. It's is just a tiebreaker. I put it as a tiebreaker. So therefore Shimon says, Adasheni is more kedusha. So the same thing here according to this Yuma. I have 4 places to put the blood. So if all 4 were equal, Taka, I would say Mavir and Ala mitzvahs. But because this one is screaming that this is Tadir, You really should go with this. The pasuk says Pesach Oyel Moed. Okay. Okay. So again, I want to summarize what it seems to be very simple according to Tosas Yuma. I think you can't. Tosas Yuma says that when you have two mitzvahs, you can't tell me this is a smaller mitzvah. Don't tell me that. The Eibusher said to do this and this. First you do this and then you do this. I don't care which is small and which. You don't tell me what's big. It's the Eibusher's Chochmah, the Eibusher's Ratzon. But if there's only one mitzvah to do, and the Shaila is Sunday and Monday on the right and the left, so then, and you need a tiebreaker. It's not, you need a tiebreaker. When should I do it? One. So then, Eim Avir and the mitzvah is a tiebreaker. But if you know which is more important, Sunday is more important for the mitzvah, or Monday is more tzugeh passed for the mitzvah, Adoration is more tzugeh, so go with that. Now that we have this, because that's, it's not like there's two mitzvahs on me. I'm trying to figure, when does the Eibusher want me to do it? On Sunday or Monday? Right, exactly. He wants me to do it on the right, he wants me to do it on the left. So if I have a svara, the right is better, the left is better, Monday is better. So the Eibusher wants me to do the mitzvah on Monday. So it's not that I'm going to be ma'amir al mitzvah, I'm doing this mitzvah tomorrow. Wow. Give me 2 minutes. We want to look at something inside, and then we'll finish off with this. Chiddush from the Alter Rebbe. It's based in the Magen Avraham. The Mishnah Berurah doesn't agree with this, but you still have to understand what the Alter Rebbe holds. The Alter Rebbe writes like this.
Well,
It says Siman Chav Hey. I'll explain it. Siman Chav Hey. The Alter Rebbe says Dinit film beprotis. It's the first film. Siv Beis and Gimel. Amanich in talis or kisat film b'torch kisachot. If you're going to put the talis and tefillin in one bag, I mean today everyone almost does it, right? You have one plastic bag or one leather bag, one that you put the talis and tefillin into it, right?
it's separate.
Yeah, but you don't have one bag when you go to shul. There's one bag on
One,
right. So in those days, not everyone did it. Hamanich in talis or kisat film b'torch kisachot. Yizar lechatchila shelo yanich kisat film. L'mayla min atalis, kedei shelo yivge bat film koydem shivge batalis, v'tzarech lahaver lamitzes kedei l'sato batzitzes, koydem nochas film. L'chatchila, you should be careful to put the talis on the top. You don't want to end up touching the film first, because if you're going to touch the film first, you're going to have to ignore the film and put on the tzitzis. Koydem nochas film shelemitzes tzitzis itadira. Shenheges bein bechil bein b'Shabbos v'yomtev. With tefillin and heges b'Shabbos v'yomtev v'todah koydem l'shein todah. Todah is more important. So if you're going to pick up the tefillin bag, you're going to have to put it down and take the talis. And it's not nice what you did. V'mloi nizer v'nich kisat tefillin l'mayla min talis, and you picked up the kisat tefillin, or you see it first. Afal pikin yisat of tchila b'talis koydem sheniach tefillin. It's not called Ma'aver al Mitzvahs. So that's not called Ma'aver al Mitzvahs. If the tefillin, say the day before you never wrapped up, you wrapped it. You never even put it in the plastic cases. You put your tablets in the bag. You put your tefillin in, and you never put them in the plastic things. Nothing. And next day you open it up. And it's right there. So then you have no choice. I'm not tefillin begol menachem betachkis l'maylam and atalis. Also lahaver al mitzvah. You're not allowed to pass the mitzvah shenas dam with biyodeh. Tzorach shenich tefillin kodem ativus atalis. Mishnah Berurah holds no, that it never, in both cases it's that way. In both cases that way. I don't understand the Alter Rebbe. Do you hold of him? You don't hold of him. It's starting to split hairs here. Saying if the talis, never mind that he holds that there's a difference if the tefillin is in the bag and not. Like, do you hold of Eim Avirim or you don't hold of Eim Avirim? I don't understand. Make up your mind. If you hold the Eim Avirim ala mitzvahs, you tell me that if the talis is on the bottom and the tefillin's on the top, you're not allowed to pass a mitzvah. So therefore, you got to put on the tefillin first. The Mishnah Berurah brings from a lot of that Eim Avirim it says deraisa, and therefore you can't say. The whole shul is going to look at me a lot, start laughing at me. Yeah. That's like kavod abriyas. Kavod abriyas can't break a deraisa. Kavod abriyas is only can break a derabanan, not a deraisa. Mishnah Berurah says no. Even though embarrassing to you, you have to endure the embarrassment. So okay, that's very strong. So why over here all of a sudden the Alter Rebbe say, if they're in bags, have the talus on the top and the tefillin on the bottom. But if accident was the other way, Emavirin al mitzvahs is ironclad. It's the Raisa. So you decide. Okay, so if you hold it's in the bag, it's not shayach. Okay, it's not just. So you can put the. What's going on? But now that we understand the Tosfos Yuma, we understand. There is in Emavirin al mitzvahs, there's the real Emavirin al mitzvahs, and then there's the tidebreaker Emavirin al mitzvahs. There is a real Emavirin al mitzvahs. You're really not allowed to. And it's mamish like a deraisa. It's a serious thing. Don't tell me you're embarrassed now. Everyone's gonna laugh. You're sure, but no, you have to do it. Emavirin al mitzvahs. But then there's sometimes it's a tidebreaker. It's not a real emavirin. Now, the Rebbe holds like Magabram that if the film is in the bag, it's not called mavirin al mitzvahs because it's wrapped up. It's anyway wrapped up. But still, you're asking me. You're coming to you're learning Shechnor, right? Why are you learning Shechnor? It's from you want to know if I'm going to set up my talis bag, what should I do? Rabbi, what should I do? How should I set up my bag? So you're asking me a question. You want a tidebreaker. You want to decide which one should be on the bottom and which one should be on the top. You asked me a question. You're looking for how to make the kviyas. Okay, so I'm telling you that Yois, the talis, that you shouldn't, in order not to have the problem of emavirin ala mitzvahs, so put the tefillin on the bottom. But Lapoil Mamish thought it is the more important. So if Lapoil it's the other way around, so
you started doing the mitzvah by touching it already, which might be a little.
he holds it's not that way. The truth is he didn't go in if you touched it. He just
You're
said
going to touch the so it's like you're already putting it on.
he holds it's not that way. He holds if it's wrapped up in the thing, it's not
You
considered.
touched it. Right.
That's what he holds. Okay, that's
I'm not going to stop doing it.
no, sure, but he's saying that's but my shiloh was only that. Okay, you can argue if that's considered if the tefillin are wrapped or not wrapped. My shiloh was something else. You hold it, you don't hold. So he holds one, and you hold. But you in the end, in the case was tefillin begolim menachem lakisan also lahavar la mitzvahs. V'tzorich sheniach tefillin koydem ativas atal. So why, if it's betoich kisan, you're using the thing emavirin only l'gabel chatchila and not the avid.
And it starts with the mitzvah.
Okay, so I'm saying you see that emavirin ala mitzvahs. Sometimes there's the real emavirin ala mitzvahs, and sometimes it's just a tiebreakers. It's also two mitzvahs, but you're also going to do everything here. You're going to do, but there's a shayla is which one you do first. Yes. But he holds that the real emavirin ala mitzvahs is only when the tefillin is totally exposed, right. And then takaza emavirin. You have to put on the tefillin first. In the other case, it isn't emavirin ala mitzvahs. Okay, that's not my pella. Whatever, he holds that way. But also there's a little bit of a consideration emavirin ala mitzvahs if you're asking me how to set it up. But Lapal Mamish, since over there there isn't a real emavirin ala mitzvahs, we say that the talus is todir, and therefore you should put on the talus first. So all I'm saying from Tosfos Yuma is that there's a real emavirin ala mitzvahs and a tidebreaker emavirin ala mitzvahs. So
why the tie?
This is like the ninth grade Rebbe, Bishmak or whatever.
Yeah. It's a good bar mitzvah Torah. Yeah. Anyway, that's in Nashkof. It's a very important thing that like I said when we learned it on Hanukkah, one of the nights, this idea that the Eibishter gave us mitzvahs and we're not the ones to judge. That's the whole idea of emavirin ala mitzvahs. That even if the other mitzvah seems to you that that's more important. And the truth is, sometimes when it's the same mitzvah, like we said, and it's just shaylas, which are a better day to do it, and we still sometimes consider emavirin ala mitzvahs, but then we do look at what's a better day. But when it's posher, it's a mitzvah. There's no such thing. That the second mitzvah is more important, but it goes a little bit to what we were learning when we started Masechah Shabbos. You don't do business with the Eibishter's mitzvahs because that's really chas v'shalom. You can follow them to reform. That's you don't do business. This is the Ritzayin Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's why even a small thing, but it came first, and that's the Eibishter's rotzen. So we have to do it right away.
Rabbi, and Ma'avirim and mitzvah bari ad mitzvah. Which one comes first?
Ema Vidim, because Ema Vidim seems to be, according to Mishnah Berurah, like a dead ice, like Ema
Even
Mishra.
if the misses are Veris, even if the misses are going.
Al Tachmetzana also doesn't go into Veretz and Ari Veretz.
You have two mitzvot here. One of them is higher and the other one is less high. So which one you do first? You do the one that's higher,
Al Tachmetzana means don't wait.
do it right away.
Right. Ema Vidim al Mitzvahs is a different thing. Mitzad Mitzvah, I'll tell you what the difference is. There's a separate issue when this applies and when this applies, but mitzvah about Adam and say don't wait 5 minutes. Don't say I'm going to wait 5 minutes. Do it now.
Do it right away.
Do it right away. Ema Vidim al Mitzvah doesn't say a person cited if a person's about to do a mitzvah, so we're saying don't pass this mitzvah and do this one. What's if you say I just want to go back to sleep? I want to sleep for another hour. So it's no problem, but you're not ma'avir any mitzvah. It's no problem. But then all of a sudden they say, no. But don't go to sleep because mitzvah, you see what I'm saying? Mitzvah, mitzvahs, he can still go back to bed and sleep for another hour. But mitzvah, don't go back to bed and sleep for another hour.
Because when you go back to sleep,
Then you're being mach
when you
mitzvah.
get up, it's the first mitzvah that you're doing is the one.
No, but you made it chometz. The chometz means that you waited 18 minutes. You made it chometz. You went back to bed for an hour. You made it 4 times chometz. But you're not ma'avir ala mitzvahs because you just slept.
Right. Yeah, but I've got the problem in the morning when it's 5:30 in the morning and I say Mo'odani and then end up falling back to sleep. Instead of getting out of bed.
You said you're going to start working without the alarm.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes, believe it or not, on Shabbos, a lot of times I don't even need an alarm. I'm up earlier than during the week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. That's funny.
Or if they put you in the army, no alarm, no nothing, you have to get up. To get up, you like it or not?
So on mornings I can get up early. Some mornings I can't.
Go to Sasson for training.
We used to stay up because not to be afraid not to get up. To get up 4 o'clock, we have a mountain to climb. And to prepare the gun, to prepare this. So you have to stand 12 o'clock, you stay up, you don't go to sleep.
Wow.
I was afraid to put the shoes, the high, big shoes. Because in 5 minutes, you have to be outside, ready with everything. If you don't come, then you have to go 3 times up to the mountain. Punishment. Huh?
In the mountain, Rabbi, question for you.
Yeah.
When I sometimes go back to sleep, when I'm laying in bed and I say Modani and I go back to sleep, do I need to recite Modani again when I wake up for good?
What you just said Moedani or said the brachas? Moedani you can always say again. It's not a bracha. It's fine.
Because the issue is, I wake up and then all of a sudden I say Modani and then I fall back into a deep sleep.
In Moedani you could say again.
I'm supposed to
If
say it again.
but if you're ready out of the bed, no, this is going to take back. It's full put on the pile.
Or the honey is saying, Hashem, you got me back to Neshama. In this hour you're sleeping, Neshama goes up also.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't say down
That's the
there.
problem.
Moedani you're not saying Hashem's name. Say it 2 times.
Right.
Like kind of shama, you can't say a second time. You say it once a day.
No, I only do that once a day.
Shkoyach, if anyone is joining us,
Rabbi.
Afreilichem Tom.
Amen.
Amen.